Muhammad Returns, narrated short story. I was 15 years old when Muhammad returned. Not the Muhammad of paintings, not the Muhammad of sermons, not the Muhammad of children's books. The actual Muhammad, the man who walked the streets of Medina, the man who claimed to speak with angels, the man who united Arabia and spent the final years of his life preparing expeditions, sending letters to kings, and calling humanity to submit to Allah. No one knows how he returned. One day he simply appeared. At first people laughed, then historians tested him. Linguists tested him. Governments tested him. For weeks the world argued. Then the argument stopped. Against all reason, the impossible had happened. Muhammad had returned. The Islamic world erupted. The largest Islamic conference in human history was organized. Every major scholar attended. Every Muslim nation sent representatives. Billions watched. My father bought tickets immediately. This, he told me, will be the greatest day in Islamic history. I believed him. For years, I had listened to scholars explain Muhammad's teachings. I had defended him online. I had memorized hadith. Now I would hear from the man himself. Traffic stretched for miles around the convention center. Helicopters circled overhead. News crews covered every entrance. The atmosphere felt less like a conference and more like the arrival of a king. My father smiled the entire drive. Imagine, he said, no more arguments, no more debates. Today, we finally hear the truth from the messenger himself. I nodded. I expected Muhammad to be pleased. After all, there were nearly 2 billion Muslims, mosques on every continent, the Qur'ans translated into hundreds of languages. Surely this was the victory he had dreamed of. But the first surprise came before the conference even began. Backstage, Muhammad waited with the organizers. The giant screens displayed advertisements for Islamic charities, Islamic finance, Islamic universities, and Muslim influencers. Muhammad looked completely out of place. No suit, no security team, no microphone, no smile, only a simple wool garment and worn sandals. As Muslims passed by, he watched them carefully, particularly the women. One woman walked by wearing expensive makeup, perfume, and a fashionable designer hijab. Muhammad followed her with his eyes. Then he turned to an organizer. Is she a believer? The organizer laughed. Of course. Muhammad remained silent for a moment. And her husband permits this? The organizer hesitated. He wasn't sure what Muhammad expected. Muhammad said nothing else. But for the first time, he looked uneasy. The conference began. The audience erupted into applause. The host welcomed the world. He spoke about peace, coexistence, human dignity, tolerance. The audience loved every word. Muhammad listened quietly. The first lecture concerned jihad. The scholar smiled confidently. For too long, he said, people have misunderstood jihad. The real jihad is the struggle against the self. Thousands nodded. Muhammad slowly raised his head. The real jihad? The scholar smiled. Yes, Messenger of Allah. Muhammad continued staring at him. The real jihad? Something changed in the room. The scholar suddenly looked uncertain. The audience became quiet. It was the first crack, the first moment when people realized Muhammad might not agree with them. The next lecture was worse. A famous speaker took the stage. He proudly explained how Islam had abolished slavery centuries before the modern world. The audience applauded. Muhammad leaned forward. When? The speaker blinked. Messenger of Allah? When was it abolished? The speaker shifted uncomfortably. Islam encouraged its gradual disappearance. Muhammad frowned. I never forbade it. The applause stopped immediately. I looked at my father. He stared at the stage without speaking. For the first time all day, I felt uncomfortable. The conference continued, panel after panel, speaker after speaker. Each presentation seemed designed to prove that Islam had always agreed with modern values. Each time Muhammad appeared more confused. Then the panel titled Islam, a religion of peace. The moderator spoke proudly. Islam does not seek domination. It seeks coexistence. Muhammad interrupted. What became of Persia? The moderator looked confused. Persia? Did they submit? The moderator tried to redirect the discussion. Messenger of Allah, the world is different now. Muhammad ignored him. What became of Rome? Nobody answered. What became of the mission? The hall fell silent. The moderator began speaking about international law, human rights, national sovereignty. Muhammad seemed unable to understand why any of those things mattered. The audience expected him to condemn atheists. Instead, he kept questioning Muslims, again and again. Not their sincerity, not their devotion, their priorities. Eventually, the organizers brought forward a Salafi scholar. Whispers spread through the audience. Surely this would be the moment everything was resolved. Surely Muhammad would finally find someone who understood him. The host introduced the scholar proudly. Messenger of Allah, perhaps this man follows your teachings most closely. For the first time all day, Muhammad seemed interested. You teach jihad? Yes. You teach that slavery was permitted? Yes. Muhammad nodded. The audience became visibly uncomfortable. Then Muhammad asked another question. How many campaigns have you led? The scholar hesitated. None. How many lands have submitted? Silence. How many rulers have accepted Allah's rule? Silence. Muhammad stared at him. Then what exactly have you preserved? The room felt colder. Even the people closest to Muhammad appeared far away from him. Hours later, the conference reached its end. Muhammad stood. No shouting, no theatrics, just certainty. The certainty of a man who believed he had spoken for God. He looked across the hall at scholars, influencers, politicians, imams, millions watching around the world. Then he spoke. All day, I have heard my name. The room was silent. I've heard my words. Nobody moved. I've heard my commands. He paused, and each time they were followed by an explanation. No one knew what to say. You say Islam is peace. You say Islam is equality. You say Islam abolished what Allah permitted. You say jihad is something I scarcely recognize. The hall remained frozen. Then Muhammad said something I never forgot. You praise me with your tongues. His voice was calm, but apologize for me with your hearts. No applause followed. No response came. Then he asked a final question. Why are you ashamed of me? The conference ended in chaos. Scholars debated. News networks argued. Governments issued statements. Social media exploded. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone had an explanation. Everyone except me. Hours later, I sat alone in the empty convention center. A brochure lay in my lap. On its cover were the words Islam, peace, justice, human rights. The same words I had heard my entire life. I stared at them for a long time. Then I remembered Muhammad's face. Not angry, not hateful, certain. That certainty disturbed me more than anything he had said. Because for the first time in my life, I found myself wondering, what if the Muhammad I had been taught about was not the Muhammad who had returned?